greetings, salutations. Welcome to Tyson and Teddy Talk, episode 13. We're getting right into it. This is a podcast every week. I'm Teddy. Tyson's over there on the right. I don't know. Are you on the left on your screen or are you on the right?
I'm on the right.
Okay.
But I'll
nice.
always be
So
on the right because whenever I put the video together, I put on
Oh,
right.
that's true. That's true. In the video, aren't we like corners? So you'd be like down there, right?
No, not that. Like that's opposite. To be on the other side.
No. Like,
there you go. Yeah.
There we go. Had to wave. If you want to find the video version, if you're listening to the audio version, you can find that on youtube.com. Tyson and Teddy Talk. I don't think we have a URL because you have to have like 100 subscribers, I believe.
So sub, damn it.
You can just search it. Yeah, just
Jeez.
sub. You cowards. God. I'm just kidding. We love you. Dude, guess what I was just doing? I bet you'll
what
never
were you
guess.
just doing?
Playing Final Fantasy 14.
So was I.
Because it's great. So what I was doing was, when I hit level 50, because I did that a while back, but when I finished like the MSQ for like the main A Realm Reborn before patch quests or expansions, when I finished that, then it was like, here are all these unlock quests for all these different things you can unlock, because it was very similar to like when I first started the game. There's all these blue unlocks, and every time you go into a new area, you're like, oh god damn, there's so many of these. So I just grabbed all of those like the other day, and this morning I just went and like did almost all of them, and they were almost all just go talk to these people, unlock hard dungeon. That's what almost all of them were. And I was like, cool. And then I got to the last one. What?
I've skipped all of those.
Oh, no, I'm going to do it just because I like dungeons and stuff. And you only go through it once just to finish the quest. So it's like, all right.
The only problem that I find, though, is that if you unlock them and do the dungeons, then they're in your roulette.
Yeah, that's okay.
But then it's like, then you're just like, oh, I just want to do a quick like trial roulette. And then it's like, oh, now you got this roulette extreme. And you're just like, fuck.
Well, extremes shouldn't be in the regular roulettes, I believe.
Are you sure? Because I think they're still all level 50.
I don't know. I know that they're separated into two different categories for extremes. Like normal and hards are grouped together, and then extremes is in like a separate thing. So I don't think extremes are part of the roulettes, but I'll have to look into that. Yeah. But I want to do the extremes anyways. The extremes I'm doing, but the hard dungeons are just like, they're easy. It's fine. Yeah. So it's nice to, and I think it actually makes it so that you have that dungeon at level 50, right? Like I have a level 50 version of Brayflox now, whereas before, if I had gotten that in my roulette, it would have been like 20, I wouldn't have had all my abilities. Whereas now, it's like, oh, I got the version where I can use all my shit. So I'm down with that. But I just went and talked to everybody and did that. And then the last quest I did before I hopped on here was like, for about an hour, I was just going, talking, unlocking shit. And then I got one where it was like, oh, no, you're actually doing shit. Like, it was actually kind of lengthy. And I was like, what? And then I started Googling. I was like, what is this quest going to unlock? It unlocks a 24-man raid. And I was like, oh, all right.
Oh,
that would explain why that's lengthy.
One.
Yup. It's like something labyrinth. And I was like, oh, cool. All right.
I did that with Future a while back.
Hell yeah. So I'm unlocking that at the moment.
But yeah, when you were talking about doing the Binding Coil of Bahamut synced, and it's just like that is still to this day, that's still like one of the hardest things in the game. Like people like when we ran it unsynced, and like Mark, the guy who I think he's like the Free Company like founder, he would say like that he would never even do this synced.
Yeah, but I will say him and Bunny both were like, when I asked if either of them wanted to do hard or extreme versions of like, I think it was just trials that I did last night. Yeah, it was just some trials. And then they were both like, nope, not going through that pain again. We did like 5 of them in
I don't
like
think it was pain. I don't think it was pain. It was just like, it's just that like, especially with what is it? Like Ifrit and Titan, I think you were doing. It's just that they're just
not yet. Titan is next. I did Extreme Garuda.
I guess like what I can see from that is it's just like with Binding Coil of Bahamut, the story is really good, and all of the areas are really cool that you walk through, even
Yeah.
if you do it unsynced. With those trials, it's just like there's nothing there.
Oh,
That's
see,
why
I
I've
just
skipped
thought it
all
was
of them
really
because it's
fun.
just like one, I don't get anything from it.
Yeah, see, that's what I would understand. If they were just like, nah, honestly, I'd rather do other shit, cause you know, it's like it's like if somebody came to me while I was playing Destiny and they were like, hey, you want to do, like, let's say Destiny 1 is an example, and
It's literally
we're
if
in
people
like
were like, hey, you
Rise
want to
of
do
Iron.
Leviathan, and I'm like, fuck no.
Oh, but I always was like, absolutely, let's do it.
Yeah.
I just like that content, so that's why I was surprised. But if I was like, let's say I was working really hard that week in Destiny on like an exotic quest or something, and I was almost done, and I literally had plans that night to be like, oh, I'm gonna knock this shit out, I'm gonna finish it. Then they're like, hey, you want to do Leviathan? Then I would be like, no, I'm sorry, I'm doing some other shit today.
Like, I guess it always depends on the person, because like especially even in Destiny when people are like, oh hey, you want to do this old raid? I'm like, no, like why would you want to do an old raid that you have everything
the
from?
mechanics are fun.
But you've
It's
done
not
it
always
already.
about the loot.
You've done it already.
Yeah, but it's fun.
There's nothing. There's
It's a
no.
good time.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean, I get it. That's the thing.
'cause
Like,
to
that's
me,
what I was
it's
saying.
it's like a little bit of a waste of time when you could be doing other things.
Yeah, but not if, like, it depends too. If you're playing with like a friend who you wanted to get into the game and you're like, come on, you got to do it. And then they're like, do you want to run this with me? I'd be like, yeah, of course. I told you to get into this game. I'm not just gonna be like, fucking have fun now. Like, I push them to get into it. So it's like, it's fun just because I like the mechanics and whatnot. But I do get it. Like, if they were not wanting to do it because they're like, I'm playing the game tonight and I have plans. I got other shit I want to make progress on, They're in like a
There's always
progression
stuff to
kind of
make
mood. Like,
progress
that's fair. That's fair. I get
That's
it.
the problem,
But
like, even
their
with
whole
me.
reasoning seemed like they were just like, it's going to be awful. And then when we did it, I was like, this is fine. This is great. This is like super easy. But dude, I will say, so we did like 2 or 3 hard mode trials, I think. Maybe just 2. And then we did the extreme. The first extreme is like Ultima's Bane, which is like the final fight of the MSQ. Fucking awesome. And I was like, this is really cool. But we did kind of melt it. So I think we wiped literally once and then went back in and killed it. And I was like, just from a mechanics perspective, so cool. Very neat. Awesome music. Like, dope. And then when we did, and then we went and did Garuda. And that one had we did spend a little bit on it. I think we were there probably for like 40 minutes maybe. And like when we finally got it, it was absolutely that feel of like, fuck yeah. And we got it with like most everyone dead, but I was still alive. It was like me and 2 other people or something. We like clutched it. It was so great. And it was very like, this is, I'm not going to go too deep into it on a WildStar perspective, but the game is very much what I miss from what I loved about that game. So I'm like, this is great. I'm having a blast. It's so good.
That is good. That is
It's a
great,
great
that
time, man.
you're playing, 7-year-old content. And
It's great. Hey man, that's what everyone told me to do. Like, if I had come to 14 on my own, I would have just boosted. But everyone was like, nah, you gotta play the things. So here I am. I'm having fun.
You probably could have boosted.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Everyone was like, no,
you could do
gotta
the-
play
you could do
the
the 60
story.
you
You
could do the
gotta play
60
Heaven's
boost.
Ward and the yeah.
well, the 60
That's what
boost
everyone
takes you to
said.
Heaven's Ward. I think there's the 70 boost that would take you to Stormblood.
Yeah. Well, it's
You
too
could just
late
do
now.
the 60 boost.
I mean, at this point, I'm literally almost to that. So
yeah.
I'm liking it, man. It's fucking fun. Like Garuda and the other extreme trial was literally like from WildStar. My favorite part of those dungeons, which is why I love those dungeons so much, is the cool ass fucking mechanics of having to dodge and like positioning. It's so neat. And that was the same thing. Like especially the first one, the Ultima's Bane, where there's like literally like a shit ton of lasers that like there's only this tiny little sliver that you can get into. So good. I love that shit. That's like very me.
That's on that's in like pretty much everything going forward to like a lot more.
Super into it. It's great.
But yeah, I guess
And
I've just always
the
been trying
music,
to just
too.
push the MSQ as fast as I can, and so I've like really skipped all of the like whenever I see like blue quests, I'm just like, if it's not an Aether Current, which you'll get into when you get into Heaven's Ward, it's like I'm not even gonna touch it.
I'm doing blue quests, MSQ, and group content. But
I'll
not touched
hit
side
the end.
quests.
I'll hit the end of Shadowbringers, and then no, you know what? I'll hit the end of the patch quests. I'll be done with everything story wise, and then I'll maybe go back and do that stuff. But it just like
maybe that's why I got so far ahead, level wise.
Yeah,
that's probably why.
Because
I like dungeons and stuff. That's one of the things I literally miss from MMOs.
You should push the MSQ.
Yeah, but I've already literally I just unlocked a bunch of more dungeons to do.
No, but like the really in my mind the really cool looking ones are Heaven's Ward and on. Like there are some.
Yeah, they're gonna be there,
crazy.
but I want all of them. I want all of them. I'll get to it, but I want all of them. I just unlocked in that last little bit where I was saying I was going around unlocking all the hard modes. I unlocked one that was just totally new, and I was like, "What? Okay, cool." So
there's a couple that
you never know.
MSQ.
Yeah, there was one a good bit in when I was just mainlining the MSQ for a bit. I went to the Waking Sands and there were 2 dudes that had blue quests and I went and talked to them. And they each had 2 or 3. So I had 4 or 5 that were just here's new dungeons. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. So yeah, I like dungeons, and trials are very specifically what I loved from WildStar. So that's awesome. The extreme versions of trials are very raid-esque. It's dope. And just in general, the feeling of I used to just log on to WoW back in the day and just put on podcasts, put on some music, and just do some dungeons, just hop in the queue. It was great. So this is exactly that kind of feeling. So it's good. I'm having a blast. It's a good time.
That's great.
And people have been very generous lately. So I am not doing Postmates this weekend. I probably will next weekend, but so today, it's a Saturday. Just woke up at 11, stayed up until 3 a.m. yesterday. Woke up at 11, and then just it's chill. I did a little bit of cleaning. I went and was listening to a podcast in the living room on my couch, just with my dog, just cuddling, And I was like, this is great. This is a nice relaxing day.
It's just every weekend.
It sounds nice. Don't know how to do that. I think I said that last week too, where I was talking about how I had a good Saturday, and I was like, "This is fucking must be nice."
That's a pretty normal weekend, yeah. That's just what people do on the weekend.
Sounds nice, If I didn't.
Not bad.
Work.
It is pretty good.
Should look into actually having a roommate. I don't want to, but I should. I could give up this room as much as I love having a little studio.
You have a 2-bedroom?
Yup.
Jesus.
It's $750. The thing is
$750.
Yep.
God,
yep.
just okay.
I
We're
know.
gonna end. No, we're
this
ending that. We're ending that conversation right there.
Why is yours significantly higher?
Yes. Well, yeah. I live in one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Yeah, and down,
or at least
in the
Canada.
city too, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm 15-minute walk from downtown Vancouver. So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even, how people are talking about or they were, and now they're just not talking about $15 minimum wage. I don't make that, so that's the thing. But it is 2-bedroom. But when I was looking for a 1-bedroom. But this just ended up being what I could find that was honestly the cheapest.
Jesus, 2 bedrooms for $700.
Yeah, dude, it was so weird. And it has a there was a cheaper thing, but it was it didn't have in-unit laundry.
You could not find a 1-bedroom for that anywhere in the lower mainland in Vancouver. You couldn't find a basement suite for that.
Yeah. Nashville, I found the cheapest thing I found was a really garbage, literally kind of a basement little room in someone's house for $1,200. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. This is why I chose to move to a place that has a very cheap cost of living. But Yeah. I still could use
I could just
some time.
I can't even comprehend. It's just
it is it's nice. Like when I was looking at places to move though, I was looking at the cost of living. Like I was thinking of Colorado for a bit, and like fucking Colorado is really expensive as well. Like it's pretty much the same thing as Nashville. Especially like Denver. Denver is like significantly more expensive. And like if you go even a little bit, yeah, any sort of big city. There's nothing here. It's like it's not like middle of nowhere like I used to live in like Alabama, but it's like a little up from that. So it does have shit, but it's still a small place. It's a college town. There's just like a college here pretty much. But yeah.
I'm just at a loss for words. With what I could do if my rent was $750, I'd be fucking so rich.
You're like, I'd have a gold couch behind me.
Man. I'd have like, oh man, I can't even.
It's all dependent on what you make though.
True, but that's what I'm saying. If my
with what you make,
you're like, I make, if my rent was $750 a month,
yeah. Move to Fayetteville, Arkansas.
You couldn't pay me enough money to.
Well, you
to
don't
move.
even you don't drive either, or you do drive but you don't have a car, so there would be that. So like I couldn't get anywhere here if I didn't have a car. Well, that's not true. There is some stuff relatively nearby, but it would still be a good walk. Like it's still at least like a 10-minute walk. I don't know. There's like a Walmart and some other shit pretty close that's like right across the street from me. But I'm kind of like, that's true. But you still gotta go places sometimes, you know.
I don't.
But I will say, there's a bus stop, not like right there, but like pretty close by. That like
especially in these days, like you don't really have anywhere to go.
It's true. It's true. I don't. Where do I go? Drive-throughs sometimes, and the grocery store. Yeah. That's it, man. Remember going places. I talked about the other day, I mentioned like, oh man, I would love to see that in theaters. And then I was like, oh, I talk about it like theaters still fucking exist.
Well, Spider-Man.
They do. Spider-Man
only in theaters.
Only? That's the thing? Oh,
Did you not see the Spider-Man news? Like that was when...
You gotta treat me like I haven't seen much news. You gotta be like, have you seen this? And then sometimes I'll be like, yeah. But a lot of the time, no. Probably not.
But I thought you loved Spider-Man.
I do. I quite enjoy the Spider-Man character.
You didn't see like all of the... when they were like teasing the title?
No, but I saw everyone memeing on that.
Because they were like last week.
I literally saw Spider-Man Google Home partnership with the Google brand partnership.
Because like, what's his name? Tom Holland tweeted something, and then like a graphic of like a title, and then I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays his best friend also tweeted something, and it was a different title. People are like, "What's the title?" And there's just a whole. And then
I think it was actually, was it actually unveiled on Wednesday?
Yeah, and then like the next day there was like a little video, and it was on a whiteboard, and the whiteboard had all of these titles on it, and then it said Spider-Man No Way Home, and it said only in theaters.
Oof.
Which
is wild because they're not.
It's December,
well, I was gonna say,
or it's like holiday
they're not doing
2021.
Okay, I was gonna say they're not doing that for Black Widow, but we don't know yet, right?
No.
Yeah, damn. That's weird.
This is very weird. And I wonder, it'll probably tank. Not tank, but it probably won't make as much as it would.
No. I mean, you got to imagine that they're going to, like, that they're counting on that they're expecting that. You know what I mean? But then again, people are dumb. Maybe they're just like, nah, it'll be fine. Everybody's going to be back to work. Who knows?
Well, like people are saying it's like, oh, well, I got the vaccine and that's like 9 months away or something. It's like, it's a long time. It's like, yeah, you're not gonna cure a global pandemic in 9 months.
Yeah, especially at the rate. I mean, we talked about this last week. I think last week's episode was Vaccine Ninjas, so this is a good little sequel here. We were talking about how most likely whoever wants the vaccine is probably going to be able to get it by the end of the year, but that's still a long.
I don't think that's true.
And even that is
especially in
like,
America. In America, there's 300 million people. It's not going to be.
Yeah, it is almost March. And
yeah, didn't your old president say like, oh yeah, we're gonna have vaccines out by November, like before the election?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, like what? November of last year?
That's what he said.
Oh, do you by your old president? You mean
president.
the garbage orange man?
He was like, we're gonna have vaccines out.
Oh yeah, yeah, but he's a piece of shit liar.
Yeah, but they're all liars. Like let's
yeah,
like all politicians lie. Like I saw a funny like meme about because I think America just bombed Syria. Was it Syria?
I think.
And then people were like. There are all these memes with Biden. It said like, it's like we bomb Syria, but with diversity,
with unity.
Yeah, and it's just like
so
it's like we're still shitty, but like we're shitty with diversity. And like there was like a picture of a plane dropping bombs, and it had like Black Lives Matter stickers on it, and it had like a pride flag. And it's like, okay, so you're still shitty, but a little less shitty.
There was I saw another one that was like, somebody on Twitter said something along the lines of like, it's okay. We could have gotten our stimulus checks or $15 minimum wage if only the Democrats controlled the House, Senate, and the presidency.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. It's like, yep.
Yeah, they're all liars to some extent.
It's true, but Trump was a very blatant, obvious, nonsensical liar. Like he had said, I mean, before he said, "Oh, we'll have him out in November."
Mean. I don't mind. I don't mind nice liars. Like mean liars are just bad.
He had said it was going to be out he did say, he's like, oh, we'll have him out to everyone in November. And he said that like at the beginning of November, I think. And he had said that a few weeks ago about October. And I was like, no, this is all lies. And then every time he said that, literally all the health officials were like, no. Like next year at the earliest.
And then it's like, even if the majority of people do get vaccines, it's like people are still going to be apprehensive on sitting in a theater with 100 other people. Yeah. People like eating and you hear somebody cough in the back seat. Like even if you got the vaccine, you're still going to be paranoid. People are going to be paranoid. It's like with conventions, like people are going to be paranoid going to them. And I think you kind of should be with like the amount of, excuse me, like the amount of deaths in this like past year that this one virus caused. Like you should be a little cautious. You shouldn't be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to go to Comic-Con and shake hands with people. It's like people aren't shaking hands ever again. Never. We're never shaking hands again. We'll bump fists, or we'll salute. That's about it.
I wish that was true, and I wish the majority of people did realize how serious this shit was.
The smart people
is. Yeah, but this is sadly not as many of them as you like.
But that's the thing is that's why theaters still just and I would love to see Spider-Man in theater and see all the action, but would I risk dying over that? No, I'm good.
Yeah, I do like that is one thing that I thought about recently. I think we did talk about this a little bit last week, but I do just miss theaters. Like it was so nice. Like
I do and I don't. Because like prices here are expensive.
Oh, it's super expensive.
I don't mind theater prices, or I don't miss theater prices.
That's true. All. I used to have AMC Stubs A-list though, so that was great, which is never coming back. I'm glad I enjoyed that for the time while it existed, because that's not happening again. But it was so nice because I went to a movie about every week, and it was a nice I was mostly just working, doing school, so like I didn't really and like streaming, so I I don't know, didn't go too many places other than like the places where I have to go. So it was always a nice, like, Sunday. I'm gonna go up on myself. I'm gonna relax. It was great. And that's kind of the thing that I miss about it. And like just before the pandemic really hit last year in like early January, February, I was going like every now and then, like once a week, once every 2 weeks, I'd literally go to like Starbucks or a coffee shop and bring my laptop and like do some editing and stuff like that. It was great to like kind of change your location. Like it's a good like mental change of pace. And all that's is like, nope, this is where I reside now. But honestly, that's true. I think people will be hesitant, but I think people who do get the vaccine are going to do like, well, I don't know. This is me being hopeful. I was going to say is going to do a lot of research on it, and like they're going to see it's like, really, if they see the stats of how effective it is, then they'll be like, oh, okay, they'll be a little less hesitant.
I think the people that are getting the vaccine are the ones that will still not go to theaters to see Spider-Man this winter.
But like you have it.
Still,
you know what I mean?
It's just like you can get the flu even if you have the flu vaccine. It's not 100. Yeah. Nothing is 100%.
It's true.
And like if you are, you can be.
Condoms aren't even 100%.
Exactly. Everything can be. Like if you can still somehow be a carrier and then you can still give it to somebody without you knowing, it's like, I don't know. It's still too early to do all this shit.
Yeah. Even if the vaccine does get to a lot of people by the end of the year, like
you don't do it for a movie, for a fucking movie, like.
But like even if that does get to a lot of people by the end of the year, it's still like going to just have done that. You know what I mean? Like it's still going to be just a relatively new thing. Like it's still going to take a long time for people to feel okay going out again in the same way and whatnot. It would just be it's a weird adjustment too. Like even if it's just gonna it would take time for people to like be okay with it.
Yeah. So I don't think maybe it'll get pushed. Maybe it'll get put on to like Disney Plus at the same time. Who knows? But yeah, I think.
I mean, we'll see what they do with Black Widow, and then we can make a judge on what they're gonna do.
Well, it's weird with Black Widow just because it doesn't really have a
doesn't have a date anymore, right?
It doesn't have a date anymore, but it doesn't really have a place in the store. Not because it's a prequel, so it's like people are really excited, I guess, for Spider-Man because it's like the next kind of sequential movie.
How weird is that, by the way? If you think about that timeline of the MCU and the phases, like. It was Endgame and then
Spider-Man and then
Far From Home, right?
Yeah.
And then kind of this hiatus. And then they're kind of coming back with Spider-Man other than the MCU shows. Like that's such a weird usually they like there's a good bit of other movies in between for like the series, but they're like, fuck it.
Well, Spider-Man, they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Like Eternals was supposed to be before Shang-Chi was supposed to be before. And then
Black Widow was supposed to come out like
so those three movies are supposed to
be
in between Spider-Man and Spider-Man.
I'm curious, what was the original Black Widow date? Because it was long time ago.
It was last May.
Jesus Christ. That's crazy. Yeah.
We're still so we're like we're over a year without Marvel movies.
Yeah, it's true. Which honestly I've heard people talk about could not have come at a better time though. Like thematically, like with the story, couldn't have like Endgame and then Far From Home and then you have to like take this
like a nice
break. Yeah, absolutely, it's fine.
Now nobody complains. It's like, oh, we get Marvel stuff all the time, and it's like you had a year. Yeah. You had a year of break.
Now you had time
to either get caught up or just to take a break from Marvel to do whatever. You can't be like, oh my god, I feel so overwhelmed with Marvel stuff. It's like, no, you had a year to stretch that out. If you felt the need to watch it all, you had a year to do it.
Yeah. And oh my god, what I don't know, my thought left me. But yeah, MCU, I'm glad it's gonna be back. Like it already is back. When WandaVision came up with the logo and the intro, I was like, fuck yeah. It's great. very excited for.
I am still
Winter
very on the fence with how Falcon and Winter Soldier can come after WandaVision. Like, it's just not going to be able to hit the heights of this show.
I think you are all setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah,
I think
like,
everyone has to understand that it's literally just going to be an MCU movie as a show. It's going to be just them.
But that's the thing. That's what we thought about WandaVision. And WandaVision
no one ever thought that.
Yeah, well, nobody knew what to think with WandaVision.
Yeah.
It was just
From
like,
seeing
is
the
this gonna
trailer,
be
everyone's
a
like, what the
sitcom?
fuck is this?
It's just going to be a sitcom. And it's like, oh, is that going to be weird? It's just going to be a sitcom? I don't know if I really like that. But it's like, usually every Marvel movie that comes after at least either meets or exceeds the past one. There are some step backs with like Ant-Man, but everything else, the first Ant-Man, the second Ant-Man's fucking awesome. But
that's
what?
A take.
No,
that's fine. I mean, that's okay. You do.
What do you mean?
That's the wild. That's the first time I think I've ever heard someone say they prefer Ant-Man and the Wasp over Ant-Man, but that's okay.
I think it's a
personally,
popular,
I prefer Ant-Man, but that's okay.
I think it's a popular opinion that people like Ant-Man and the Wasp over Ant-Man. Ant-Man had a terrible villain.
That's news to me.
It had a terrible villain. It was super short, and the end battle was just like, oh, it was here and it was over.
Yeah, definitely not about the end battle. I don't know. I really liked Ant-Man, but that's okay. I know I'm rare with how much I like Ant-Man in comparison, but like,
I like the character.
I don't think I've heard people in general talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp maybe ever. Like, other than
Ant-Man and the Wasp is dope.
It's
nobody
good.
Nobody remembers it because it was in between.
Was in a weird time period.
It was in between.
When was it?
Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah. I think it was right after. It was the one after Infinity War.
Yeah, it was Infinity War, and then it was Captain Marvel, and then it was Endgame.
Was it?
Or
yeah.
Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man, yeah.
Captain Marvel, and then Endgame. So it's like, it was this weird like purgatory where people just wanted to know what happened with, and that was the same with Captain Marvel. But those movies are pretty great when like you watch them again after everything is finished.
I just like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think is the only. I wouldn't say only, but it's one of the only MCU movies that I watched and then was like, don't ever need to see that again. I'm good. I don't know why, but maybe I should rewatch it.
It is so
good. It's probably all on Disney Plus now. I remember that was one of the holdouts on like the Netflix.
It's better having what's her name? Crap.
She's
Canadian.
The Wasp herself, Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline Lilly. It's better having like them as like partners than just having Ant-Man just by himself.
It's true.
It was just so much better.
What's
the Metacritic
maybe
say?
I should rewatch it.
What's the Metacritic
I don't know.
say?
That's a good question. I'm curious.
I've always thought that the first one was just like okay. The only good part in the first one was when he went to the Avengers headquarters and fought Sam.
That was it.
That was it. That was the only cool part.
Oh, I don't know. I really liked it, but what
was another part in that movie?
What was another part?
That was good.
I don't know. I just liked him as a character. I thought there were a lot of really funny.
I love him as a
bits.
character.
The Baskin Robbins joke. The when he gets broken out of jail and his friends like names off all the things that happened to him. Then he's like, "But I got this van though." Like I don't know. Let me see. Ant-Man. Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, Ant-Man has a 64 on Metacritic, and Ant-Man and the Wasp has a 70. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. I enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp, but
and we got Big Ant-Man again in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That's true. I did like the whole scene with like the
Ghost?
truth serum. that was really good. That was more like the stuff that I like. I thought Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp in general were both just like, MCU in general is very like comedic of a tone for like it's always kind of light for the most part, but like Ant-Man and the Wasp and Ant-Man those were comedies. They really kind of doubled down on that with those two.
Especially
same with
Paul
Guardians.
Rudd, like his character is just like a very comedic character.
Yeah.
Even when like
Yeah.
shit's going totally wrong, he still finds like a quick one-liner in there.
Yeah.
So,
I enjoyed those movies though. But
Um,
yeah, who knows when Spider-Man's actually gonna come out and where it's actually gonna come out.
and who cares about no?
And Spider-Man sucks. He's a
I hope
garbage
that
character.
I don't know.
Fuck Peter Parker.
I just hope. I don't know. I don't know what I want this to be the last Spider-Man movie.
It's not going to be.
I think
But-
in the MCU it's going to be.
It's fair.
I think that they're going to part ways. Sony just, just do whatever you want with him. Keep him over there.
I think
We're gonna have-
we talked about this on one of our first episodes. I think it was early on. I think it was maybe episode 2 or 3 where you're like, keep him away. We don't need him. Who cares?
We're
about
gonna have 3
Spider-Man?
movies, and he's barely hit 25 years old. It's just like he's just not. He's not the leader that like he becomes to be in the comics. He's still just like we have three movies of him just as like just always unsure of himself. And like I get that's good for part of like a movie, but you kind of want him to like be you want to see an arc. He does not have an arc in these 3 movies so far. Or these 2 movies.
I'd have to rewatch Far From Home, but I thought
I've seen
I don't know.
He's
I
still
think
just
from
like
the first one to Infinity War, there's a little bit of growth for sure.
watch
but-
him again, because
I did
There's
like a
not.
month or 2 ago.
there's not though. He still is just like this little unsure kid, and I get it because he's like a teenager. But like I kind of
and literally between those two, it's like a year, I think, timeline wise,
yeah.
something like that. So, like, it's fair. But
But
that's
then
what that's
Far
what I
From
was
Home-
thinking when you were saying all that. I'm like, but like, why wouldn't we give him time to grow into that?
But
you know what I mean?
Look at Captain America.
Yeah, that's fair. But Captain
In
America,
one-
like,
in 2
he
movies,
went through some shit. You know what I mean?
No, but even
Like,
from
trauma-wise.
Avengers to Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but that makes
That's a
sense
huge
as to why he
arc.
would grow that much. Yeah, yeah.
But
for
that's
sure.
the thing is like they haven't made any. There's no reason. They don't make a reason for Spider-Man to grow that much, and now he's just
Yeah,
like
but
gonna be.
I don't know if there really needs to be a reason while he's in high school. You know what I mean? Like he's chilling.
But that's why I
Taking
think
math
that they
classes.
either should have had him like at the ass end of high school or
Yeah, but people didn't want that. They wanted the high school Peter at the
yeah.
time.
But the thing is he doesn't fit anywhere. Now we have
that's-
2.
that's why
No,
I
we
like
have
it.
2 heroes that are gone, that were leaders. Who is the leader of like the so-called Avengers now?
There fucking not really is one at the moment. you know?
Exactly. And Spider-Man's not
But
gonna,
like, no, that's why I'm like in my head. I'm like, did
But
you
he
want
was-
Spider-Man to be?
but he is
that's weird.
like in the comics I don't know if he's a leader of the Avengers, but he is a leader.
Sure. Yeah, but like that's an older Spider-Man. That's just not the Spider-Man that we have.
And that's what I mean.
And that's
He
okay.
doesn't have a spot in the Avengers.
But he can in the future.
In
I don't-
what? You're
Just
gonna
because
have-
he's not a
you're gonna have
leader doesn't
Tom
mean he doesn't
Holland-
have a spot either.
You're gonna have
Like,
Tom
that's-
Holland like in this role for another 20 years until they actually like grow Peter Parker.
I mean, how long was Robert Downey Jr. in the role?
Only 10 years.
10. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was already an
Fair.
adult.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes. That is why, in my opinion, I think that they casted
Even Iron
Tom
Man
Holland
had a better
and
arc
set him in high school
the first movie.
to give him time. And to give people time with the high school Spider-Man. Like, I think all that you're talking about is going to happen and definitely could, but it's just not.
I don't
now
think so.
'cause he's still in high
Especially
school.
because I don't think of the Sony and Disney working together.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole. That's a
There's
whole
that.
thing.
And then
But just, I think thematically, story-wise, all of what you're saying could definitely happen. It's just not
don't
right
think
now,
so.
you know? But why?
because they haven't done it in 3 movies.
But they didn't want to because he's in high school.
No, but like
But
not
they've
even
done
a
it
little
with some
bit.
of the other characters.
Not even a little bit.
I
Even
don't know.
even
I
in
think
Far
a
From
little
Home,
bit.
he
I
still
think
is
he's
like
come more. I think he's more confident
Definitely not more
being
confident.
Spider-Man.
no.
Yeah.
Watch Far From Home again. and
All right.
then get back to me.
That's my homework assignment. All right,
Because
I'm gonna watch Far From Home.
Because he just looks for another mentor right away.
But he's still like 16 years old.
No, in Far From Home, he's probably, I don't know.
I think he starts
They're
off
graduating.
15.
Yeah, they're graduating.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's senior year. I think because that's like their senior trip.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. So he started. Yeah. So what? They go through 3 years in those 3 movies through high school. 15, 16, 17, and I guess you're kind of graduating around there. Yeah. Okay. And honestly, through those, that's fair. I think from Homecoming to Infinity War, I think that's good enough for me. But that's fair. I think in Far From Home, there'd be a little bit more like growth. Because, you do grow from being 15, like, can't even drive, fucking permit, to then when you're graduating high school. Like, there's definitely a good bit of maturity going on.
I don't know. I just don't feel that like he has any depth as a character from these 3 movies.
All right.
I don't feel that he's had like this dramatic like change.
I don't either, and I don't think they wanted him to.
But that is that's too long for a character to not like have any sort of like arc.
Sure.
Like even if he's young, I don't care if he's young. Like he still has to have an arc. Like even Miles Morales had an arc in 1 movie, and he was younger than Peter Parker.
Well, I think from 1 movie, Homecoming, he definitely had an arc from the beginning of Homecoming to the end of Homecoming. But like in general, yeah, dude, the fucking come on, Spider-Man lifting the goddamn rocks. Yeah, dude. That's a whole thing. That's absolutely that's a very similar thing to Spider-Verse of how that works. Like absolutely. But I don't know. I think you're right when it comes to he went from 15 sophomore in high school to graduating. There's more growth that goes on in a person than kind of what was shown. I think that's true. I just think
that I don't know. I'm just thinking of like all of the characters and even like tertiary characters like Winter Soldier has had like a bigger arc. And he's barely in movies.
I don't want to keep harping on this, but they're all adults. Like
yeah, but you can't just fall back on that. Like Spider-Man has lived through some shit. So that should also make him like grow at an accelerated rate and like have to deal with bigger problems than just being in high school. You can't just always fall back on, he's just a little kid.
That's fair, but I get what you're saying. I get that as a complaint, but I honestly believe that they did this on purpose because people did want a high school Spider-Man after the 2 Spider-Man series before it. And like, maybe it was a fault, but it was definitely
we're all
like
excited
purposeful,
that they're coming back. Even though Tom Holland says that they're
I was
not.
gonna ask you about that.
No, it just means because Tom Holland is terrible at keeping secrets, so they're just like, you know what, Tom, just lie to them. Can you just lie to them? And then everybody, because that's the thing, is like, it was like confirmed. I'm pretty sure it was confirmed that they were like in.
I know that Jamie Foxx and the other one, the guy who plays Doc Ock, those 2 were confirmed. So if like those 2 were, and
the
not
2 villains
Spider-Man,
of the 2 other universes, you gotta get it. Yeah. So it's like, so they're gonna say, Tom, can you just lie and then try to throw people off the scent, which I like. God. I don't mind it. I don't mind actors lying about that kind of stuff.
Lie to me.
That's totally fine. But I don't know. I just want more from Spider-Man. I want him to be Spider-Man, not Spider-Boy.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying give them time, and sure they should have done more by now, but like they have more time to do their shit. Let Kevin Feige work. He's a master. All right.
Well,
let him
do
his thing.
I honestly think this is the last Spider-Man of the joint movies.
I think that's possible.
Well, no, like
I think it
is the last Spider-Man.
Yes,
in the contract because they had a contract for 3 movies.
But you're saying you think it's the last one that's going.
Yeah, I think they're gonna cut ties, and then we're gonna have Spider-Man and Venom.
Last time
We're
we
gonna have
talked, that was a
Sinister.
lot
We're gonna have
more-
Sinister 6 in the Sony side, and then look at Marvel. Marvel's
If
bringing.
movies still
They're gonna
exist.
try to bring X-Men back. You got the Fantastic Four. You got Blade. You got the Eternals. You got She-Hulk. You got Jane as Thor. There's just gonna be no room. I don't think there's gonna be room. And so
Yeah.
they're like, you know
I
what? Let's
mean-
just shift away from Spider-Man so that we can invest in other heroes that people will like better.
I think you're like you were before when we talked about this, underestimating the reach of Spider-Man as a character. I think Spider-Man has so much value in that IP and in that name that they're gonna do all they can to keep it.
But Marvel can't.
It's
like,
not really up
they
to
can't
them.
keep it. If Sony doesn't want to play ball and
Yeah,
Sony's
that's what
Sony,
I'm saying. It's not up to them. They're gonna
so that's
do
why I'm
what they
thinking
can to try and make that
they're
deal,
trying to
but-
pivot away from him because they know that Sony's just gonna like be like, okay, well, we'll take Tom Holland now. Thanks
because
for
it's
that.
risky. You
Yeah.
know?
Like Marvel started the Tom Holland like Spider-Man, but they don't own him, so Sony can just be like, okay, we'll take him back and we'll keep making movies.
Give me
So
the
thanks for-
boy.
thanks for the boost, and then we're gone.
God. Yeah, I was a lot more on the lines of like, I don't think Sony's gonna rip him back before when we talked about this, but now I'm just like, whatever could happen. Because like even because there's been 2 deals technically, right? I think.
Sort of. Well, there
was
it's the
one
same deal, but
originally.
it's the same deal, but like Disney wanted more of a cut, and then there was a part, and then they were gonna like get out of the deal, and that's when like they said
there
that,
were
yeah,
like 2 big negotiation points. There was like
Yeah.
at the beginning, and then there was another point where they had to like negotiate. But each time, I remember all the news articles being like, "Who the fuck knows? Could go either way." Like it seemed very like back and forth. So I don't know. I'm not gonna predict. just let it. I'll just let it happen. You know. I trust in the MCU. It's still gonna be great no matter what. But personally, I want more Spider-Man. Keep Tom Holland. But you know, I have no say.
I'm
in
good
this.
without him.
Call me
There are
up, Kevin
better.
Feige.
There are better heroes, and these movies have shown that there are better heroes.
Damn, it's brutal. Dude, WandaVision though, we'll talk about it. How long have we been going? I was gonna say we'll talk about it at the end, but we're kind of there. I don't know. We've been going about 50 minutes. I'm trying to think. What else have I done this last week, video game or movie wise? I haven't watched any episodes of The Expanse. I just haven't been playing too much goddamn Final Fantasy 14.
I've been watching Disney Stars. I don't know if you guys have that now.
Nope. Apparently,
So-
Dragons told me about that in chat the other day. Our resident Australian. Apparently, that's a thing where like every other country has stars, and it's
But
like
then again,
the M-rated
every other
stuff.
country doesn't have Hulu. So
Oh, that's fair.
So I almost think that like Disney would shoot itself in the foot because Disney owns Hulu. If they put Stars, and then people are like, well, then why do I need a Hulu subscription as well?
yeah,
Because like I can't get Hulu in Canada, I'm pretty sure. So
that's wild.
But it was cool. So like I saw the Stars app or the Stars like icon, looked onto it. There is so much stuff. Oh my god.
Damn.
And it's like good stuff. It's like there's like Criminal Minds, like all the seasons of Criminal Minds. There's just like so many TV shows. And then the first thing I watched, and I don't know if you've seen this, you probably haven't. It's a newer movie, but I watched The Martian again.
Oh, I actually have. It took me a long time to see that movie, but because I really wanted to, and then when
What a
I finally did, it was
banger.
really good. It's a good movie.
Fucking
It was
great
fun.
movie.
Yeah.
And then I like whenever I watch these movies with Matt Damon, I'm always like, there's a meme where it's like America has spent like over a couple $1 trillion saving Matt Damon because saved him in Saving Private Ryan. To use Private Ryan, Interstellar. We like traveled through
I've
a
seen
black
that
hole.
one. That's true.
You haven't seen Interstellar?
No, I have seen that one.
Oh, okay. And then I think The Martian. I think those are like the 3 main movies where like we
It's a lot of
rescue
money.
Matt Damon.
Especially Interstellar. That's a lot of money to rescue him.
Yeah. But man,
Oh my
The
God.
Martian's such a good movie.
Yeah. It's been a long
Okay.
time since I've seen it, but I liked it. It was really good.
then I've been
Also, just
watching-
want to point out, just opened Hulu. Guess what's on there? Sonic the Hedgehog.
I started that movie and then I stopped halfway.
You're like, nah.
I love Jim Carrey in it though. Like I will say, love Jim Carrey in it, but I'm like, this story's terrible, and I don't care about this blue hedgehog
sometime.
Hey man, but whenever Jim Carrey was on, I was like, oh man, this just reminds me of like The Mask or Ace Ventura, and I'm like, oh, I love old school Jim Carrey.
Nice.
But you probably haven't seen either of those. God, you haven't seen The Mask?
I looked at the camera right as you said the title of each movie. I just went, just a quick glance. No.
You haven't seen The Mask?
I've heard about
Ace
it a
Ventura, either of them?
Definitely heard about Ace Ventura a lot, but I didn't see that.
Like, do you even know who Jim Carrey is then? Have you seen a Jim Carrey movie? Have you seen How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Yeah,
Okay,
for
you
sure.
saw like the live action
Definitely seen
one
that.
with Jim Carrey?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Which is a weird movie, but you know it exists.
Great movie.
My sister was watching it I think it was last year for Christmas, and I was there and started watching it too, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, it's tough to stretch like a 20-page book into an hour and a half movie.
Like, does the Grinch come from a book? Because
what?
No, dude.
Dude,
All I know is
does the Grinch oh man, this is just as bad
it's like
as
a
the 750
book, right? I would
What?
imagine. Wouldn't it be like just a children's thing?
It's Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, that's what okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
But-
So that's a joke. 20-page Dr. Seuss book.
Well, it's like, it's not like there's not a lot of
gotcha.
story in Dr. Seuss.
I thought you were
books.
saying the opposite. I thought it was like a lengthy book.
No.
Like a novel.
No, it's a rhyming book.
Yeah. Okay.
All of the books rhyme, and then they turn it into a movie.
I do. I am familiar with Dr. Seuss.
Okay.
Big fan.
I was like, I thought if I said Dr. Seuss, and you're like, oh, what does he practice?
Who's Dr. Seuss?
Is he,
What movies is he in?
Is he a cardiologist? Is he a surgeon?
Oh my god. Oh, his name's Theodore.
Well, there you go.
I had no idea. That's wild. But without an E? It's literally just I'm looking that up.
Well, he's
It's
probably
Theodore.
pretty-
Yeah, Theodore without an E, just Theodor Seuss. Ted Geisel is his full name. Shout out. Everyone go buy a Dr. Seuss book. Boost
One
those
fish,
sales. You
two
know?
fish, red fish, blue fish. Green eggs and ham.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some bangers.
Green eggs and
in there.
ham. It's a banger.
I like the Cat in the Hat movie with Mike Myers as well. That's a good one.
It's a weird. I think I saw that a long time ago,
It's
but that's like
very
a weird ass movie, right? Like,
But again, Mike Myers, Canadian and Jim Carrey, Canadian. You know, we got some funny people in Canada.
yeah, you got some good people up there.
We got some good people. Oh, and there was also the news that Blade is going to not be rated R.
Oh, I thought they said it would be originally.
That's Deadpool. Deadpool's going to be the only exception, but you know, it could always change because Blade's still like years and years away.
Yeah,
What
that
else
is a
is there?
long ways away.
Oh, there was I gotta watch because Cloak and Dagger is on Disney Stars.
You're gonna watch that?
Yeah.
Wow, shit, dude. Maybe I should watch that. I've been thinking about watching that for a long time.
It's Marvel. It's like I gotta watch all the Marvel stuff. And I like Cloak and Dagger from the comics.
Have you watched Runaways?
No, but I've
that's-
never had an easy way to. This is the thing.
Okay.
It's like
That's
if
fair.
it's there
'Cause
for me, then I'll watch it.
Cloak and Dagger is on Hulu along with Runaways here. So maybe they'll bring that there next. There was actually like a weird fucking crossover episode in Runaways with the Cloak and Dagger characters, and I was like, oh, huh, maybe I should watch it.
They're trying the DC crossover.
But literally just with the Hulu Marvel shows. But now they're both canceled. So,
Yeah.
you know. At that point, I was like, nah, I'm done.
Reboot them with the same actors, but reboot. Well, I don't know if you could reboot them. Put them on like Disney Plus.
Runaways I really liked for a long time and had some awesome fucking shit in there, and then just nope. Like
Well,
that
like
was
that
really
movie-
good.
What was that New Mutant movie? Was it the New Mutants?
New Mutants?
Was
Yeah.
that with Maisie Williams? It was
Dang.
okay.
That came out?
Yeah, that came out. I think
Wow.
it just went. It was sometime last year. I watched it. It was good. I don't know if it was like if it's canon in any way. They talk about mutants, but they don't talk about
X-Men canon's the whole thing.
yeah.
Watch anything else? This
Last Man
week?
Standing, because that's on Disney Stars.
Okay, real talk.
I love that show because it's so stupid. Like I love that kind of those kind of jokes, like how those jokes are formed. And
Yeah, that's fair. It comes from a very problematic place, though. Like
Dad
it's
humor.
very.
well, it's also
it's-
very Republican, and so some of
it's
those,
very
some of the
conservative.
Some of the jokes are just like, oh,
Yeah.
but some of them are really good.
I did watch that for a time because I can't remember. It was on some streaming service. I think it might have been Hulu actually. And I was looking for a sitcom, I'm all about some sitcoms. So, and then I went through that. And then at a certain point, I was like, this is not, not okay.
There's some that are like
But-
really funny, and then there's some jokes that are just like, oh, that's a little too real.
It's very like fucking what's the term? Just
But I also
toxic
love the fact that like
masculinity.
you have
Just
Tim
full of
Allen
it.
with 3 daughters, where in like 10, 15 years ago he had a show that went 9 seasons with him and 3
Yeah.
sons. I was like,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
like that. That's fun.
It is very Home Improvement in a way as well,
Yeah.
like just his character. So,
Yeah. He doesn't change. Just the world around him changes.
yeah, the Tim Allen cinematic universe, the Tasu.
This is in a parallel universe where he has 3 daughters.
Nice. Will he be in the multiverse? Multiverse of
Maybe.
Madness. Pull in Tim Allen. We'll see.
I don't know. He's not Buzz Lightyear anymore.
Shit.
What's his name?
Wait.
Chris Evans is.
Oh yeah. They're doing like a live action Buzz Lightyear movie, right? Or no, it's just a Buzz Lightyear like standalone.
It's just like
Yeah.
animated. It's like his origin
wild.
story, which is weird because he's
Great.
still just a toy.
Always wanted that. you know?
Yeah.
Lied awake at night dreaming. Man, where did Buzz Lightyear come from? What's his traumatic background that drove him to be this hero?
That was like Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4, I was like, did we really need this?
No.
No, Toy
I
Story 3
enjoyed
was
it, though,
pretty good. It was
but it
fun,
was-
but I'm
yeah.
just like, it was just a weird, like, unless it was going to be another trilogy, it's weird that you just have it's just like, you have a great trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 ended. It was perfect.
Yeah,
And then you just have
exactly.
this have this more because
Yeah.
we want more money.
Yeah, it was really weird, especially with how 3 ended. 3 was very specifically like, this is the end of Toy Story.
Well, then it was like
and then they're like, Toy Story 4.
10 years. No, maybe not 10
Yeah.
years, but it was like a long time
It's a long
before.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Weird. I don't think I watched too much. I think I finished the season of Hell's Kitchen. I don't fucking remember who the winner is at this point.
They're all
At this
losing.
point, they are blending together, dude. It's a nightmare. I did fall down a rabbit hole of Kitchen Nightmare though, which at this point I think is more interesting than Hell's Kitchen.
It's interesting, but it's
Because-
also disgusting. And I just,
It is.
because like
is.
those places actually exist and that kind of shit is,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just,
Most of it is entertaining because the owners, like the people who are making the business fail, are just idiots. Like that's why. But it's the same kind of like, it's great and entertaining, but goddamn, I hate the fucking editing. It's just getting on my nerves. The editing is getting on my nerves because it's the same fucking thing. You could put together something more interesting with what's there. And that's what's bothering me. Like Hell's
it?
Kitchen 2, like Kitchen Nightmares, uses some of the same goddamn sound effects and music. I'm like,
yeah.
it must be done by like the same production company, I imagine,
Same
like around
production
that
company.
same time.
It probably cut costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna be like, oh, this is another show with the
upsetting.
same host, but let's like get new assets. It's like, no, you gotta use reuse
There is
assets.
some new, but like a lot of them are like, there was one moment where I was like, God damn it, this is the same fucking track. Like it's, I get sound effects, but like just music, just copy and paste. Ugh.
Well, because
But it's all right.
one, these probably came out years apart.
Probably. I wonder.
So one
I
person's
wonder in
not going
comparison.
to be like, oh, I remember that song because I binged all of it.
Watching both of them at the goddamn
Like
same
I've
time.
used the same bed track in a commercial before for different companies.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I couldn't find one, and this one sounds good, and it's been long enough that I didn't that I can still use it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna use it once and then just throw it away.
It's true. That's true. I'm trying to find the date of when Hell's Kitchen started, but Kitchen Nightmares started in 2007. So like they might literally have been going at like pretty much the same time. I'm curious. 2005 is when Hell's Kitchen started.
That's
So
2
yeah, they had
years.
2 years of that. It was successful, and then they were like, "Oh, here, do this, Gordon Ramsay."
Yeah.
This is when he was like, "Just do all this for us and make us money."
And like 2 years, you can use the same track.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. People aren't gonna remember 2 years ago that this bed track was in this episode of.
But it's like it's not the one episode. It's the fact that Hell's Kitchen as a series for like 9 seasons now has used the same fucking music. I will say sometimes like when it's like, oh, you know, halfway through they're like, oh, open Hell's Kitchen, then the dinner service starts. That music was the same for a lot of the time. It's a fucking banger. And then eventually they were like they did a different song, or like they kind of did like a different delay, like they did a little interlude and then it went to the song, and I was like, oh, you got me. But like but that's the thing, they use the same goddamn music so much that when they switch it up a tiny bit, I'm like, oh, look at that. This is something new. It's crazy. It's
psychology.
so stupidly formulated. I get it. It's profitable. Yeah, makes sense, but it's
Oh, and I also watched
it's
last
annoying.
night The Day After Tomorrow because that was on Disney Stars.
That's
that
a movie
movie.
that I used to like. My mom had on like fucking VHS or something, I think. And like, if that is the one I'm thinking of, let me check.
Weirdly enough,
Yup.
so Dennis Quaid is like the father and Jake Gyllenhaal is the son. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
weird.
Why is that weird?
Just because like I still like I still think of Jake Gyllenhaal as like an adult. And I
Yeah.
think he was like kind of older in that role even then. And so it was just like weird seeing him play like a son character. I didn't remember that
Yeah.
he was the son.
This is the movie I was thinking about, and
God,
this
what a
is the movie
movie.
that
It's
my
just-
is it what?
I don't know. Like it's these movies that come out at the same there's a couple that come out at the same time where it's
Yeah.
like the world ends. We got to figure out how to it's just like CG and it's just
God,
like
I'm sure
man
that
like
doesn't hold
how we have to survive and like
Yeah.
it's just funny. Like they're just funny.
Yeah,
They're more comical than anything.
yeah. I wonder.
There's that in 2012.
Mm-hmm. That's one I wanted to see back at the time, but never did. Now
Two
I'm
movies
kinda
that you
glad I
should
did.
watch. I don't know if they're on any services that they might be on Prime. Volcano and
Huh.
Dante's Peak. Two
I've
Volcano
heard of
movies.
Dante's Peak. I haven't heard of Volcano.
Volcano's fucking great. I love Volcano
Volcano's fucking
because Volcano is set in I think it's like LA. And so there's like a volcano like in LA. Yeah.
Shit.
Dante's Peak is like an actual like I don't know. I just like Volcano better.
If you look up Volcano on Amazon Prime, the first movie, customers who watch this item also watch Dante's Peak. The first one.
They came out the same year.
And then Deep Impact, The Core, Tremors.
Deep
I've heard about
Impact.
Tremors. Let's see.
Remember there was
Godzilla.
Armageddon. Armageddon came out the same year as I think Deep Impact. And it was both about an asteroid coming to hit Earth. Both movies are about the exact same thing, but they
I
just
wonder how
did
that
it
works.
differently.
I mean, I'm sure that's got to be some sort of like Hollywood focus group where like they figure what's gonna work this year, and 2 people predicted asteroid movies. Let's go.
But it's like they're
You know?
different studios that made them, so it's like, and they weren't competing because they weren't in theaters at the same time. It's just that they were so
Yeah.
closely together, and it happens a lot. Like those 2
Yeah.
Volcano movies, Armageddon and Deep Impact. I think like The Day After Tomorrow and what is it, 2012? Like they're all these weird. They're just like so
2012,
close.
I think, was pretty far.
Or was it?
apart. Yeah, that came out in 2011.
Oh, okay. Still, it's just so weird back in the day those movies came out at the same time.
It has to be some sort of like focus group shit, some sort of research that these companies do. There's so much money behind it.
We're in need of one. We haven't had a world-ending movie in a while. And please don't make it about the pandemic. Who needs it? That's too real.
Who needs it when it's right out our door?
We need something we can fight, like an asteroid
or a volcano. Let's fucking punch that asteroid.
That's what they. Do you want me to spoil Armageddon for you?
Yes.
That's what they do in Armageddon, sort of. They don't punch it, but they fly to it, land on it, put charges in it, and blow it up.
That's
and then
great.
Spoilers: Ben Affleck was going to stay, but he's dating Bruce Willis's daughter.
Ooh.
And then Bruce Willis is like, "No, you go," and then he stays on the asteroid and blows it up and dies.
Shit.
Spoilers for Armageddon.
Spoilers for Armageddon. You know what other spoilers we're gonna get into? WandaVision episode 8 right now.
Was it 8?
If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it. My name's Teddy. You can find me on twitch.tv/Teddy Generis. And YouTube and Twitter and Instagram, all the same things. Posting a lot of pictures of my dog. I also got a new phone, so that's neat.
Very nice.
That's really neat. So there's a new
Not
camera.
an iPhone.
No, definitely not. So there is a new camera. I'm taking all sorts of pictures of my dog. Check that out on Instagram. And Twitch, doing a lot of cool things on Twitch, playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14. Check it out. Tyson, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Tyson Pellegrini, Twitch, twitch.tv/tpellegrini, and Instagram Pellegrini_17. I'm just doing what I've always been doing. Not really doing much else other than what I've been doing.
Just hanging,
just doing stuff.
Just vibing.
Find me on the internet. I tweet. I think I tweet the most. I don't really do much on the other platforms, so
he's just vibing on Twitter. Right? Catch him in the streets. Anyways, WandaVision season 8, dude.
It was
season 8
episode.
Yep. Yeah. Fucking awesome. 45 minutes or 46 or something like that. Dope. I saw that and I was like, yeah, hell yeah. I stayed up and actually watched it late at night because I was already up at fucking 2 a.m. And I was like, fuck it. And sat down, got some popcorn actually. It was great. It was a good time.
Yeah, next week I'm gonna I don't know if I'm gonna get popcorn, but I'm gonna get like some candy or some snacks.
Yeah.
For the last episode.
Hell yeah.
Gonna be good. I enjoyed this one just so much because this whole season, or even just like the last episode, I wasn't really on board with Catherine Hahn as Agatha, just because we didn't really see her with it kind of felt cheesy at the end. Like it was a good cheese, but it was like cheesy where she's like, "Oh, it was all me." And I'm just like, "Okay, but who are you? And like, what's your motivation? I don't understand."
Yeah.
And so this episode, when it opened and it showed like that little bit of a backstory, and then just like her throughout the episode, I really enjoyed her. I enjoy her as a villain.
Yeah. Yeah. And like starting with a little tiny bit of like an origin at the beginning that I'm sure they'll go into a little bit more. That was really cool. Fucking just great as really somebody who as somebody who is not a huge fan of, or I wouldn't say is not a huge fan, but when the sitcom stuff was going, I wanted to know a little bit more, super into what's actually going on. Great episode. It's very cool to get like a little bit of kind of a cool background origin story to a character that has already existed and that we've already had a good amount of movies with. Like, it's cool to actually get more depth with her. Yeah. Really neat.
I really hope that like this means that she's going to be pretty important in like movies and just in like the overall scheme of the MCU going forward. Because they give her a lot of backstory and just like a lot of character depth in this
and there's
one
still
episode.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like this, like we've heard her say like, oh, when her and her brother, when her parents died, that they were just like staring at a missile that had Stark Industries, and that's why they wanted to kill Tony Stark. And And it's like we hear all this
Gonna
stuff,
get
and then you
'em.
get to see it, and you're living it, and you're just like, oh man, like it's just so perfectly executed, and she's just gone through so much shit.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it, I think she's gone through all like the most out of everyone.
Yeah. And that I thought they did a really good job because we've been this whole time being like, is she being controlled by somebody? Did she do this on purpose or on accident or whatever? And honestly, the prevailing theory was basically what was true, which is just like her grief caused it. Like she didn't mean to do it, but she went through so much shit. And I thought if that ever was going to be the actual case, they needed to do a really good job of showing that and showing the emotions behind how she could be in so much pain to do that. And I thought they did great with that going through, and also showing how she didn't actually steal Vision, you know, even though the fucking video, like they showed the shots that Hayward showed them, I think Monica and all them, but like they were clearly cut, taken out of context, like awesome.
But so that makes me so like, what was his motivation for lying? Just because to not let her know that he still has Vision, and then they think that the Vision inside the hex is like the real Vision.
Maybe. I honestly think I've seen a lot of people being like, "Oh, what's going on with him? Is he gonna be like the big bad?" Or I'm like, no, he's
a
the
human.
douche. He's the douche like director who's like, nah, we gotta fuck him up. We gotta kill him. That's it.
He's the
it's a stereotype at this point.
He's the Liv Tyler's father.
Yup.
General, I forget, Hall? I don't know. But he's like that guy.
But yeah.
I forget the actor's name, but he's like that guy where it's like he's doing everything to protect the humans against like these people.
But it's always just solved with, nah, just kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we're gonna use the one that we put back together. And then you obviously stayed to the mid-credit scene.
I did, yeah.
So, that's not Vision.
No, that
like it's not going to be Vision.
That's what I thought. Originally, I was like, is that what we're gonna do to get Vision back? And then I was like, no, I think that's probably gonna be like literally like a negative Vision, and they're gonna have to fight the Vision inside the hex.
It's just gonna be a mind-controlled like android. He's not gonna have like Jarvis's personality even. He's just gonna be a robot in a suit of vibranium.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to fight. I'm excited about that.
I do love I love the flashback of when she gets not the soul stone, the mind stone powers, and like she sees like the silhouette of the Scarlet Witch.
As somebody who knows nothing about her goddamn like origin, I'm very excited to see how that's explained, because there's very clear like lore and shit there. But like, the visual of that, I was like, that's so cool. Like,
and then it was cool when the scientists were like, "What happened?" Because like nothing happened in the room.
Yeah,
it was just like all there because it was all in her mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's so good." And then how they ended the episode. Well, so one, Quicksilver, not real. 2, Vision, not real. 3, I'm guessing her kids aren't real. Like, they just can't be real.
I mean, well, here's the thing. Like, honestly, it's weird to say like not real, because I think what we're learning is that she literally can create things. Like that's what she did. So I don't know exactly how they're gonna go from there, but I think the Vision that she created is somehow going to be Vision. Like, when you saw that happen.
I mean, he doesn't have
when you saw it happening, though, you saw the color change. You know what I mean? Like, when you saw that magic, like, she's been very clearly shown to be red. Agatha is purple. And then when she was creating Vision, just yellow. Just pure, like, yellow light of, like, whatever. What's Vision's stone? The Mind Stone?
Mind Stone.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure that's the color.
Stone. That's what gave him life.
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing. It's like there are theories being like, what if she literally like either created a Mind Stone or like yoinked one out of another universe, and maybe that's why the multiverse is fucked. That's true.
He can't live outside the hex. So
I'm sure there's more to it, but like that Vision, if they do come back, it's going to be that one. If he does come back.
But he doesn't have memories either.
Yeah. Yeah, there'd be some sort of...
I think he's dead. I think this is like a nice
thought
little
so originally, then you were the one that was like, no, they're going to bring Vision back. And I was like...
Well, as soon as I saw him outside the hex, I'm like, how are they going to explain that he can just survive outside the hex now?
Yeah.
Especially in one episode.
Know. There'd have to be something. But it wouldn't surprise me if it does, if it exists.
Also, if it does, then what? And then if her kids are real, then she's going to leave her kids with Vision and then go off and hang out with Doctor Strange in his movie.
Sure.
Like I almost hate that I almost hate that we know which movies these heroes are going to be in, because then you know that like, oh, well, Wanda's not going to die.
Yeah, well,
it's like no, it was like when Black Panther and Spider-Man went to dust. It's like, well, the movie's coming out,
yeah,
like next year. So it's like it almost sucks because it loses that impact.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know nothing's gonna happen to Wanda, but like, obviously, I don't think she's gonna have a family, or else she wouldn't go and like be in Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's not entirely true. Hawkeye had a family. He still got pulled away to do other shit.
Yeah, but
just because you have family we found
that's before. But then why wouldn't Vision come along? Because he's the nanny.
He's the nanny. He just wants to take care of the kids. You know, it's fair. Stay at home dad.
Because Paul Bettany's not in what is it? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, maybe he's done. That's what I thought originally. I was like, I think it'd be stupid to bring Vision back, but I got convinced.
I think this is a nice send-off for him. And it's like Wanda gets to see him and like get closure one last time. Maybe we'll get that in the end episode.
Actually, yeah, I think that'd be great if this is the way to send off Vision more in a like in a way where Wanda can actually deal with it more than like 2 seconds.
She killed him and then she watched him die. She
killed
him and then he came back and then she watched him die and then she died.
Yep. Oh man. Then she just into dust.
Again, she's just gone through so much.
Yeah, it's true. And I thought they did a really good job of showing that too.
Yeah. And then the way they ended the episode when Agatha's just like, you don't even know how dangerous you are, and then she's like, you are the Scarlet Witch, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, they said her name.
Please stand by. They said the name.
Yeah, they said the name. Oh, I love that too.
Oh my god.
So now I hope that, well, one, I hope her character going forward doesn't have that like crazy. If you look at her outfits, Wanda's outfits in Age of Ultron, it's pretty much the same. But then at the very end, when she's in the outfit, they like give her like double the boobs. And then she has like this. It's so like I just hate it.
So the outfit that she is in at the end of Age of Ultron, you're not a fan of?
No, well, that one's kind of stuck throughout the MCU. But I hope that like we've seen her in the outfit for Halloween, which is obviously not going to be her real outfit, but I hope that like her outfit looks more like the original Scarlet Witch outfit. And we saw that like when she saw like the silhouette, and it's like I hope that they go more like that.
Yeah,
because it was just like really weird.
It's true. Also, how good like the ending to Age of Ultron, dude. Fucking great. The whole where they come in and then they all three. I think it's like
Tony's
Vision,
done.
War Machine, and
he drives off.
And her. Is that it?
Yeah.
Somebody
and
else
then like.
too. Oh, and Sam as well.
Yeah.
Falcon. And then the whole Avengers, and then it cuts the credits.
Doesn't
and then you get it in fucking Endgame. It builds. It's great. Shout out.
The thing is like we're never gonna get another Endgame.
No.
Like it can never be topped.
If we do, it's fucking 20 years in the future.
I just don't think it could ever be topped. It was such a moment in time.
And it's also like the first times, like if something ever does come even close, it will be a little bit lessened by the fact that it's the second time that they did it. You know what I mean?
It's like it's the first time where you've had this huge universe of, what was it, 18 movies? I can't even remember how many.
I think
movies.
It was like 22 up until that point.
Yeah, so like 22 movies that are all connected over 10 years, and this is the conclusion of that saga. And it's like,
So
that
good.
you can never do that again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, imagine if Infinity War happened and then we got the pandemic. Couldn't get Endgame for like multiple years. And when we did, we couldn't see it in theaters. Like,
no, they would just for that they would have released it. They would have released it.
I know, but like that's so fucked up. Yeah. Like I'm so happy I had that theater experience. It's so good. Infinity War is such a like memory for me of like walking out of that theater being like, what the fuck? Yeah. I have to wait another year.
And because then Infinity War had the Captain Marvel tease at the end.
Yep.
And then that was the first time we ever heard anything about Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And it was just like, because people were like in the theater, I remember watching it, and you see the pager, and it has her thing on it, her symbol, and people are like, what's that? And I was like, oh shit, it's Captain Marvel.
I remember I remember one person like saying that, being like, oh my god, that's Captain Marvel. Like in front of me. I was like, yeah, it's
so good.
Yeah, MC is great. Yeah, I am very excited for the finale of WandaVision. It's gonna be awesome. Very big fan. This last episode was genuinely awesome. Like, just lined up perfectly with like setting the finale up and like kind of giving the whole world like an explanation as to how it happened.
Yeah.
Great.
She's just so sad.
Poor
Wanda.
I mean, not anymore, because she made this little world. I mean,
she knows
now
it's not
she's kind of
real.
getting dragged out of it, so...
She knows it's all fake. Like her brother. Yeah. I love that.
Damn.
So people were like, oh yeah, Quicksilver, he's going to be in. He's like, no, there's no way.
No.
This was just a fun little nod to the fans that suffered through the X-Men movies.
Yeah, that's, like I was saying, on the Kind of Funny Reacts, they were... I think it was Tim and Andy and a couple others. They were like, man, what do you want out of this series now? And it was after episode 6 or 7. And they were like, I just want that to actually be Quicksilver and for Quicksilver to come forward. I want that to be the Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, and I want him to come forward. I was like, 1, why do you want that? 2,
yeah.
No, they're not going to do that. Like,
yeah,
it's very, very wishful thinking.
It was I liked the cameo. It was great. I was worried that it was going to be that, and so that's why I was kind of apprehensive about it. But now that it's just a cameo and it was a fun little like nod to fans, I was like, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, when that happened, it's just going off of Kevin Feige literally saying that X-Men were a long ways away. Like, there's no way they start introducing them now, with like the Eternals and whatnot. Like they have a whole plan before they get there, and this would not have worked with that. So.
And like that wouldn't be the X-Men that you that you start off with and be like, hey, everybody get excited.
Quicksilver, and it's the Quicksilver from the last one.
But it's just
like they wouldn't do that. They are gonna reboot with their own, you know.
Either that or like they would start off with like, I don't know, a bigger no offense to Quicksilver, but like a bigger X-Men. Like, I don't know, like a Wolverine. Like, I don't know if you could start with Wolverine again, but like maybe Professor
I don't know
X.
if they touch Wolverine.
Oh no, they have to. No, that's fine. I'm fine with it because like that will like that's not gonna like not exist anymore. But you need to have a Wolverine in the X-Men, or else it's not the X-Men.
I feel like they're gonna get a lot of hate from whatever they do. But I don't know. We spent a while talking about how great the MCU is. It's got to trust our Lord and Savior, Kevin Feige.
It has to be like they can easily do Wolverine again.
They could. I'm just saying they're going to get a lot of hate from whoever they cast.
I don't think so. Because people know that Hugh Jackman doesn't want to play Wolverine anymore.
That doesn't stop people from, like, Hugh Jackman is the definitive Wolverine. You know what I mean? That is absolutely them going to, like, when eventually one day, 30 years down the line, when they recast an Iron Man, and people are gonna be like, yeah, but it's not Robert Downey Jr. You know
But
what I
people say
mean? Like
that-
that's what it's gonna be.
But there's also
Yeah,
people.
but it's not Hugh Jackman.
What about Harrison Ford and Han Solo?
That happened. That's my example.
But I thought a
great
lot of people
example.
like that Han Solo.
I don't know. I do personally. I thought, well, I'm iffy. I like parts of it, but like, I think most people were not a fan of that. They liked Donald Glover though, you know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, I just
even
think
then,
that-
it was still like you got to see it, and it's risky. You got to like nail that.
I think if you just go into the mind space of like this is in a different universe, like literally
Yeah, but like not everyone's
multiverse.
gonna do that. That's the
It's
only
like
thing.
it's so stupid
People-
though. People are like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
hate Tobey Maguire and we hate Andrew Garfield," and it's like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be cameos in the Spider-Man movie, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my
Let's
god,
go.
I love that!"
Yeah, but it's nostalgia, you know. We don't want.
It's
we
like,
didn't
oh, I hate
enjoy
Star
it.
Wars prequels. They're the worst things that ever happened to Star Wars. It's like Hayden Christensen is going to be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show. Like, oh god, it's back. Darth
They
Vader's
mix-
back. I hate humans.
They accepted it though. You know what I mean? Like, there's bad. The movie's not great, but there's definitely like. You accept it. It's part of the canon. So then you just go forward with like, fuck it, bring Hayden Christensen back, you know?
It's
But-
just so funny.
Yeah. They probably will do a Wolverine, and I'm sure it'll be fine. But I think there will be a good amount of people doing the whole like, but it's not him, you know?
But people are like that with Blade.
Yeah, but, I think that's quite different.
Why the
Personally.
Blade trilogy is a good trilogy. It's an R-rated Marvel movie trilogy, and Wesley Snipes is a great Blade. But the thing is they nailed the actor. Like Mahershala Ali is going to be a great Blade as well. So as long as they nail the actor, then it's fine.
Yeah. All right.
It's like with like, and they have been nailing all of like the roles so far.
Yeah.
Like even like the She-Hulk and that kind of stuff. So I think
Yeah. I'll be interested. It is a long ways away.
I hope they get somebody that's like a no name.
Yeah, but I think that's when you step into the like, because
But Hugh Jackman
like
was a
Mahershala
no-name.
Ali, you know him, you can be like, oh, he'll be great. But like the Han Solo, for example, people are like, I don't know this guy, he's not Harrison Ford. It's skepticism off the bat. You know what I mean? Like,
just mean-
I think that's just more risky.
Even, but not just like the perception of the audience, but I mean like the actual casting. Like Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
People were like, wait, this wrestler's in this fucking Marvel movie? What the fuck is this? And then you go
Yeah.
see it and you're like, oh my God, nobody else could play that character.
Drax
So
is perfect.
as long as the casting director nails the casting, doesn't matter if it's like a no name or a famous person, but
yeah.
because like Hugh Jackman wasn't that famously known before the first X-Men. I don't even think I saw him in anything before the first X-Men.
Ever heard of The Greatest Showman? I know that's significantly after.
Yeah, this was
But
like
his
2000.
hit role-
This is literally like
hit role.
2000.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Halle Berry was the more known, or maybe he was in Swordfish before. I don't know.
Halle,
I was around there.
what's Halle Berry doing nowadays?
I think she has a family. I don't know if she's really acting.
54 years old.
Looks pretty good for 54 years old.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Man, Halle Berry.
Wild.
Bring her back.
Just bring Halle Berry back.
Can we
Let's
just have
start a
Storm?
petition.
Like, break apart the framework of the X-Men and just have Storm as the Professor X character. Like, not Professor X. Maybe like have a little bit of a backstory of her work, like Professor X, like teaching her and all that kind of stuff. But then she's like the leader of the X-Men.
That'd be cool. Be a
Storm
cool
doesn't
show.
get enough praise, and Storm's badass. God, I love the
Yeah.
X-Men.
I still don't know too
I
much
can't
about
wait
X-Men.
until we're like, 20 years older, and we get to see those X-Men movies.
One day, one day.
And then
they're
when
gonna
Disney
happen.
owns everything, we'll get that DC versus Marvel crossover movie.
God damn. They're gonna buy DC.
No, they
You
won't.
know that, right? You know, one
think
day.
I don't think.
I mean, they don't need to. They definitely don't need to.
I think the government will finally step in. When Disney buys like everything, there's a part where you're like,
all
wait,
superheroes.
now they have all the money in the world. Like literally, they just own all the money. And then the government, then Disney opens up like armies. They got missiles with Mickey Mouse ears.
Oh my god, it's the terrifying Disney dystopia. It's coming. Yeah. It's on its way. But you know what else is on its way? The end of this goddamn episode. I'm hungry, to be honest. I haven't eaten too much today, so I'm gonna go get some food. Dog.
I'm gonna eat as well. I'm just thinking of the missiles as they hit, and then it plays like Goofy's heel.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking of the Mickey, the you know what I mean? Like as it hits. Be great.
Oh,
or that's what you do when you hit the launch button. It does the Oh my
little
god.
fireworks. Oh god.
Yeah,
Okay,
fireworks go up. Oh my god. That could be a good movie about Disney taking over the world. But you can't make it because Disney would sue you and send a Mickey missile after you. A Mickey missile. All right. Thanks for watching. Anybody, everybody. I'm going to go get some food. It's 5 o'clock, actually. Fuck. And, like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a rating on iTunes, all that stuff. And we'll see you next week, next Monday.
More WandaVision.
Oh, my God, for the finale.
I don't know when I'm going to cut this.